Now, as we just mentioned in the headlines there, the Nobel Peace Prize has been awarded to a Tunisian democracy group for its contribution to the first and most successful Arab Spring movement. Let's talk to international affairs analyst Marco Vicenzino about that. Nice to see you again. First of all, tell us more about the quartet and why Tunisia, why now?
The quartet played a key role when Tunisia was on the brink, some would say civil war, but its democratic transition was in danger of falling apart. It's important to bear in mind time frames. It was when this whole, call it Arab Spring, Arab uprisings, they began in December of 2010 when a fruit salesman set himself on fire. That triggered events. It led to the departure of the dictator Ben Ali in early 2011 from Tunisia, and that sparked most other parts of the region. But it was during a 2-year process that there was a lot of difficulties. There was violence, mass demonstrations, the killing of 2 secular leaders. Finally, then in addition, there was the overthrow of Mohamed Morsi in Egypt in early July of 2013. That was another key event. During this entire time, these 4 civil society groups came together and they began this process to secure the transition, to secure a peace process, to make sure that both sides, secular and Islamists, would come together. And it was during that process that eventually led to a diffusing of the crisis, and then a new constitution, elections in the following year, and an inclusive government. In other words, what other countries in the Middle East didn't do, Tunisia did do. It's a perfect example.
So if the Tunisian National Dialogue Quartet had not existed, what might have happened in Tunisia?
It might have gone down the same path as countries such as Egypt. The whole process may have fallen apart.
What's been the reaction to this award then?
It's been ecstatic, obviously, in Tunisia, but also throughout other parts of the Middle East. This is the importance. It's not just the award itself. It's what the implications and the consequences of the award. What I mean by that specifically is the fact that now this entire process, this transition hasn't ended. It's ongoing and it's still very fragile, but it legitimizes the transition process. The eyes of the world are on Tunisia. It gives Tunisia recognition. It imposes even a larger burden on ordinary Tunisians to continue with this process. It gives hope to others throughout the region that there is an example that they can point to. And internationally, there's even a burden on the international community not to abandon Tunisia in its time of need. It needs help.
And of course, this award comes at a time when Tunisia has not been entirely peaceful.
No, in 2015, there was a major attack on a museum, which led to in March of 2015, that led to the death of over 20 people. There was also the major attack on a beach resort in June of 2015 that led to the death of 38 people. And then in addition to that, you have 3,000 young Tunisians who are currently fighting as jihadists in Libya, in Iraq, and in Syria. Hence the need for the international community to remain engaged economically, politically, and also from a security perspective.
But the biggest message from this award is that the world should not forget the sacrifices made to secure democracy in Tunisia.
Exactly. The transition process is not over. It legitimizes the process, but places even greater burden and greater responsibility among ordinary Tunisians and those in the international community.
Marco, thanks very much indeed.
Thank
Marco
you.
Vicenzino there, the international affairs analyst.